Don't look at the camera, Brayden.
Don't forget to get yourself.
Well, obviously someone's holding the camera. Picking your nose. Carry your face.
So according to an article written by CNN News, covering an interview that Oprah Winfrey did on why men beat the women they love, it stated that 3 women a year die from domestic violence. That's 1,100 women a year. This number may not seem big in comparison to the amount of women that we have. However, this number is huge. What if the woman that was beaten to death was your mother, sister, daughter, best friend, or yourself? What if, by arming yourself with the knowledge of what domestic abuse is, you could help stop this from happening? I first became interested in helping people become aware of this topic after I had experienced it myself. After living in an abusive relationship and finding the courage to get out, I knew that it was something that, if ever I had the opportunity to help others understand, I should. My goal for this speech is to help bring awareness as to what emotional abuse is, what some of the signs are that you may be in an abusive relationship, what kind of impact it can have on you, as well as what you can do when you decide to leave the abusive relationship. Domestic violence can be in many different forms. It can be anything from physical abuse, mental or verbal abuse, sexual abuse. It can be in the form of stalking, digital abuse, as well as financial abuse. There are many different forms that domestic violence can take on, and it is important that you understand what these are in order to avoid them. The one that I like to discuss with you is mental or verbal abuse. Mental or verbal abuse is defined as non-physical abuse, such as threats, insults, belittling, and putting down, constant monitoring, humiliation or intimidation, or isolation. Some examples of this may be telling you what you can wear, embarrassing you in public, yelling or screaming at you, threatening to harm you or people around you in order to keep you from breaking up with them, or threatening to harm themselves in order to keep you from breaking up or leaving them. Now that we have taken a look at what mental or verbal abuse is and its meanings, as well as some examples that you may be in an abusive relationship, if you are experiencing any of those, let's take a look at the impact they can have on you. Many times people in an abusive relationship do not realize the long-term effects it can have on them. They think that the physical abuse is the only one that leaves marks. And this may be true in the sense that the physical abuse may be the only ones that you may be able to see with your eyes, but it is not the only ones that can impact you. Psychological or emotional turmoil can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, substance abuse, or post-traumatic stress disorder. It can cause stress or anxiety and can make it hard to take yourself out of that relationship. A point that the article, The Effects of an Abusive Relationship, makes that I found to be really insightful is that it is important to remember that even though the effects of an emotional or verbal abusive relationship may not be able to be seen, they are definitely equal or more harmful to your emotional well-being. When you decide that you have had enough, which I hope is before it is too late, there are many places that you can seek help. You can go to your local adult and family services building, where they can help by giving you assistance in order to get on your feet, as well as help you go after child support. There are local shelters from the storms and safe houses that you may be able to be placed in, depending on the severity of your circumstance. If you are afraid for your life due to the severity of abuse, you can seek help with your local law enforcement agency, and they can help you obtain a restraining order in which to keep you safe, as well as put you in contact with other organizations out there who can help. If you are in a situation like this and do not know where to start, there are hotlines that you can call. After leaving and getting out, it is time to focus on you and learn to love yourself again. If you are willing, seeking counseling might be a great first step, as it allows you an outlet to talk about the abuse you underwent in a safe and judgment-free environment. Some other suggestions that may help after getting out, I found online in an article entitled 10 Steps to Overcome an Abusive Relationship. The article provides great suggestions of ways to move past the abuse and find yourself again. Identify the relationship was abusive. By identifying that the relationship was abusive, you allow yourself to acknowledge that it wasn't a good relationship, and you give yourself a chance to heal. Move past love. By accepting that it is normal to have the feelings you had but not dwell on them, you allow yourself to move on. Overcome grief. You may feel extreme sadness or hurt, and that is normal. Try and work past it, and if you can't, seek outside help. Other people. Surround yourself with other people. People who love you and can bring emotional support to you as you go through this. Emotional or verbal abuse is never easy. It has a lot of long-lasting effects that can stay with you, even when the abuse stops. Help is out there. Today we have talked about what emotional and verbal abuse is. We have identified some signs of being in an abusive relationship and what we can do when trying to get out. I would like to leave you with a quote today by Franco Samir. No love, no friendship can cross the path of our destiny without leaving some mark on it forever. Let's make sure that the mark left behind by others is a good one. Learn to love yourself. Learn what you are worth. So if someone comes into your life whose intentions are not the best, you are strong enough to walk away. Last, I just wanted to show, these are facts, like did you know facts, and I found them quite interesting. And I entitled it Love Shouldn't Hurt. And there's facts such as how 4 in 10 women and 4 in 10 men have experienced at least one form of coercive control by an intimate partner in their lifetime. So if there's 10 people in here, 4 of us could have experienced it. 95% of men physically abuse their intimate partners, also as well as 95% of the men who physically abuse their partners also psychologically abuse them as well. 48.4% of women and 48.4% of men have experienced at least one psychological aggressive behavior by an intimate partner. Why it matters I found to be extremely interesting as well. Psychological abuse increases the trauma of physical and sexual abuse, and a number of studies have demonstrated that psychological abuse independently causes long-term damage to a victim's mental health. Going through these can leave very long-lasting effects. So if you're in one, definitely seek help, as it'll help. Thank you.